And the PA is pretty scary once you get some farm up, especially once you get some levels up. The 25 talent is an interesting change. So instead of huge burst potential, it just allows more consistent damage. And I think that is actually one way to fix that out. And the Fan of Knives is also pretty funny. Because that was an old... Yeah, that was an old Warcraft 3 spell.
I remember,
literally.
John, I remember.
You know, boomer Dota, as they'd say again.
No, not boomer Dota. It's more like classic Dota.
Or classic Warcraft.
Don't say Warcraft, John. We don't know what that is over here. We only know Valve games. Thank you very much.
That's true, that's true. Oh, Whitemon did it!
Oh, there it is. Whitemon, he's back. You know, you're in the lower bracket, John. You haven't got many chances to win out games, but Whitemon, he gets back to that Roshan, he gives it a slap. And I think T1, they may have just secured this first game based off that.
Yeah, it's we haven't seen that one in a while, but it does work out. They are going to contest this top rune heavily. Good damage out.
It is a lot of damage. So far, it looks like both teams were setting up for a tri-lane v tri-lane situation. We'll see if they keep it this way. So if we look at tri-lane versus tri-lane, it does feel like T1 might have the advantage solely based on the fact that they do have that Viper. And no matter what tri-lane you have, up against the Viper, it can be kind of painful. However, Fnatic have kind of positioned themselves very nicely. They want to go after Cuckoo first. They spot him out. Fisher does fly out from jabs. Is this going to be enough though? Cuckoo, he'll be chased down. A lot of damage flying in, but Zephyr slows them down now with the boulder smash. DJ's dropping low, but so is Cuckoo. Jabs on the chase. Who gets it first? Cuckoo still alive. Going to turn back around, but Jabs, he does get the kill and then denies himself off. DJ is still very low on that Enchantress, trying to run, and he is going to be able to dance his way out of there. As First Blood will go the way of Fnatic. And you know, John, there's arguably no worse hero to give that First Blood to if you are T1. That's only going to help Jabs get that blink up faster. And he already has the Tranquil Boots up now.
Yeah, it's going to be so much harder to stop this Shaker from being a nuisance. Breaks up the trial lane. You see T1 do the same. They drag Whitemon down bot, but Whitemon's out of mana. He's going to have to eat some mangoes up if he wants to have some presence. Jackie in this lane is faring okay against Masaros, but as a melee hero up against the Abaddon, it's not particularly fun. Masaros has his level 2 up. He's got the shield and the slow ready to go. So it's not necessarily a good time for Jackie to come up. You also run the threat of if you contest the Abaddon, you might get blocked with a fissure, so you need to keep your Phantom Strike ready to bail you out every single time.
That you do. Of course, the mid lane as well. You've got Carl there up against Moon. Well, Moon's having a very nice time thus far on this DP. Not really struggling too much up against the Batrider. Of course, as the levels do go up on Carl, you do have to get a little bit more afraid, but you are kind of at that level 3 power spike now for Carl, so you kind of expect that he tries to make the jump on Moon as we speak, but Moon isn't really giving that away. He's kind of making it very, very difficult. And as I talk about that, down a bot lane, this Crystal Maiden is going to die. Whitemon, unable to sustain himself up against Masaros on the Abaddon, does end up dying.
Yeah, it's just really tricky for to see him in that lane. He opts for the level 2 aura to give his team a bit of a boost and allow him to try to apply some harassment out with Crystal Nova spam, but that just means he has no way of stopping a chase onto him. And even if he got the route anyway, Aphotic Shield's going to ruin it. So your options are limited, and this is one way for Fnatic to really apply that harassment out. They've got so much mobility with jabs with this early Tranks. They've got good control and good damage. You really have to watch your spacing if you're T1. It'll take a while for you to get any sort of aggression out with this kind of dual lane down bot.
Absolutely. I think this mid lane right now for T1 is becoming very detrimental. Not stare at the explosion that was Cuckoo. That's going to be a 1-3 already for Fnatic.
Yeah, they're having a fantastic time. They're getting some kills up. They're punishing T1 for trying to overextend their position. They are looking to scuffle over these runes, but it does go to Whitemon. You are still seeing Carl lag behind. Moon is still maintaining that lead he has over that Bat Rider down mid. So Carl is really just going to have to look at the jungle. I'd say you'd expect your CM to build up some stacks, but his bot lane's just been so caught up that it's just a slower start overall for T1, and Jabs is just really impressive here.
Yeah, great rotation out from Jabs. Amazing Fisher out from our Earthshaker, and that's going to mean that Moon will happily take another kill on the Bat Rider. While that's happening, they tried to make a jump onto Masaros, but it's very, very tough when you're going up against the Abaddon. He's one of those kind of kings of the solo offlane, where it's not like you can kill him. He's just going to keep spamming a Photic Shield. Yeah, he's not level 6 yet, so he doesn't have borrowed time, but a Photic Shield is a very, very low cooldown. And the chances are you just aren't going to get through the raw HP pool of the Abaddon.
This'll come in handy.
No, really hard to zone him out. So
Top lane though, they can kill DJ, that's for sure. Zephyr does end up finding that one on the Earth Spirit.
It takes them a while. Like, they've been committed to keep trying to hunt that Enchantress down up top. And now down mid, you see some pressure onto Carl. He is forced to pop his Firefly just to get out of there, which means he's going to have to try to farm up. But that means he's not using that in the jungle. So you're taking out some utility from the Bat Rider just by forcing him to stay in that lane and not really maximize the Firefly and clearing camps.
Oh, they want Cuckoo on the Viper. Fisher not actually going to land onto Cuckoo, but they have blocked his pathway, and that means that they can still rush for this kill. However, they are dropping very low on this Troll Warlord, and a nice roll in from Zephyr. Right on target, is going to kill off Raven in return. They are going to keep going. Jabs does not have another Fisher to throw out. And with that, Whitemon just going to turn back around. DJ now the one dropping low as the Boulder Smash is going to be off target, but they have a roll available. DJ going to just sidestep that one and just dance his way out. In fact, he'll turn back around now. But while that's happening in the mid lane, Moon up against Carl. Carl, he tried for Lasso. It was not going to be enough. Moon picks up another kill with the Spirit Siphon. Back up to the top lane. Raven able to kill off one, but Zephyr... Well, in fact, it was Cuckoo who kills off DJ. The buyback from Zephyr now as Jabs is getting very low on this Earthshaker and will tick out for the poison. Cuckoo gets a double kill on the Viper. And all this buyback from Zephyr, probably not worthwhile.
No, it looks like it will allow them to at least secure the top tier 1. Raven has to be a bit careful. He is far forward without any help. Really early rotation out as well from Jackie. He hits level 6, just wants to take that objective out. So they're hitting their tier 1 timings here for T1. Fnatic first Exorcism was forced in a fight. So Moon's going to have to push down this bot tier 1 the old-fashioned way. Not going to be as fast as you'd want, but they should still be able to line up an even 1-for-1 tower trade here.
Well, I really like this rotation out from T1 though, because you pointed out the fact that Fnatic, they're looking to get very, very early tier 1 towers with their draft, but with Jackie rotating at the 6-minute mark to go along with this siege creep, he kind of evens it out very early on, so it's almost like they're preemptively just trying to keep up with Fnatic in terms of objectives.
Yeah, and that is one way to take away that advantage that Fnatic wants to build up with what the towers give them. Their map control will end up being even if they don't find the advantage, and the gold they gain is just going to be balanced out, so gotta watch out for that if you're Fnatic. Still, they're working this map control really nicely. They're invading that jungle. Moon's clearing out a couple of stacks. Next Exorcism is going to be up in about half a minute, but the mana pool of Moon isn't too healthy, so might be a while. But you've got this just unstoppable Abaddon, right? Like, he's just in bot, can't be zoned out. You are forced to just have Jackie elsewhere, and he's at a risk farming.
Every Crystal Maiden's nightmare, getting surrounded by the enemy team. And it's not like they need to rush to kill you, it's more so that they need to decide who's taking the kill. Because you're a Crystal Maiden, you are guaranteed to die. It's just a matter of who takes your life away.
Yeah, it's nice giving it to Moon, just helping their mid accelerate. I do worry about how much free farm they're giving here to Jackie, and we've seen Jackie just get the space out before. He's left alone to farm top. He's number 2 in net worth, tied up with Moon. Raven's progress has really slowed down. You're seeing Raven lag at about 900 gold behind Jackie, so the Battle Fury timing up for PA is going to be faster, which means the Flash Farm is going to be up faster for T1. That is something to worry about. I think Fnatic can't really allow that, so keep committing for these objectives.
They're going in mid lane. They want Carl, but the TPs are coming in. Zephyr straight on top of the Abaddon. Masaros going to go down. He had not skilled up borrowed time. Now DJ trying to run away as well, but he's been slowed up by the poison of Cuckoo. He's healing up as he runs. Cuckoo turns back around, but eventually DJ is going to die. They get that one final attack in, and that mid lane push really doesn't work out in their favor. So maybe just a bit of overconfidence there, but they may have wanted to wait for that borrowed time to be up. Meanwhile, Moon's still sticking around, but T1 just going for the dive straight past the Tier 1 tower. Masaros will TP in and make sure Moon does survive, as now they'll just chase down Cuckoo. A nice Fisher is there from Jabs, holding down Cuckoo. He's trying to TP out, but Jabs has the aftershock, and that means that Cuckoo is going to go down, and Moon is able to pick up a dominating spree now on the DP.
Yeah, it looked a bit rough early on, but they do manage to turn it around. A bigger swing coming out for Fnatic. They hold on to a less than 1k lead, so it has been slipping away. Biggest issue really is just Jackie. Free farm into that Battle Fury here for the PA. 5k total net worth. Still 3 parts away though, so not quite there yet. But this is faster than your Troll. So Raven's timing's always going to be slightly behind Jackie's. And again, we've seen Jackie just left alone in core. That's exactly what he wants. That's exactly what T1 wants. They know the timings Jackie hits, and he's allowed to do this. Fnatic needs to find some opportunities to roam deeper. They need to find these objectives. Moon with his next exorcism should look to really secure the mid. Tier 1 have to just be really aware of how deep they dive without that ult on Masaros.
Going back to your point about Jackie, I mean, even with this new patch, the PA is still extremely strong. We didn't really see many nerfs to her. She's still a real powerhouse in this current meta. And I mean, just judging by Jackie's farm, I mean, we keep harping on about it, but 5.4k, he's been at the top for quite a while, and well, that Battle Fury timing, it looks set to have it up for Jackie in about maybe 2 minutes. I'd say is a maximum, assuming he's left alone for the next 2 minutes. It should be ready to go. Yeah, it's going to be before Raven as well, who's still trying to farm his up. But he's about 1k behind Jackie. And that is going to be very, very problematic for Fnatic if this kind of pace keeps up with the PA. And it may just as now Jabs roll, not going to connect, but Whitemon doesn't get the frostbite. He was trying to get vision with the Crystal Nova, because Zephyr didn't have vision either. That is very unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. You really need to kill off Jabs here on Fnatic's end, because the team fight for Fnatic is not coming from Masaros this game. It's coming from Jabs on his Shaker, so he is allowed to build up into his Blink, and if he finds that in a timely manner, it's going to be really dangerous to fight into that control.
Oh, it's a nice lasso out. 5 sticky napalm stacks onto Moon. He cannot sustain that. Moon, maybe just a little bit overly confident. Cuckoo gives him the tip, so does Carl. Just trying to give it to Moon. In fact, Zephyr joins in now. Everyone just jumping on top of poor old Moon.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know, you win out in the end in those tip wars, right? You get more shards for yourself. You're a happy guy. But they're happy with that pickoff. T1 do get the slight net worth lead on their end. Fnatic, with this downtime on their DP, aren't really able to position themselves in a spot where they can use the Exorcism, which is really important. They need to just play with Moon, play with the Exorcism, start looking at towers to take. Mid-tier 1 is really just staring them down, and you can see T1's actually being aggressive up top.
Yeah, Whitemon is probably set to fall here. There's no real way out for him. Will eventually just die to the right clicks of Moon. Because Zephyr wasn't going to bother trying to roll in after him. He just kind of rolled his way out on the Earth Spirit. Absolutely no point in sticking around there. But Jackie's got the Battle Fury up in the exact timing we brought up. It has been 2 minutes, pretty much exactly since we talked about it, and this is going to be a very big cause of concern. He's now 2k ahead just about of the Troll. On the brighter side, Jabs does have a very quick blink up.
Yeah, that's again very important for Fnatic in terms of setting up these team fights for themselves. As Masaros does not have team fight, he's a distraction up front. He still does not have borrowed time, by the way, still pocketing that for when he needs it the most. But he's been able to farm up his Vlad's up, so you have more presence if Raven does come around as well. And with the Blink pickup, of course, Fnatic will want to smoke up for that.
That they do. Fnatic. Towards the top lane they go. They are going to run it into the PA. That's the target they want. He blink strikes right into Moon. Fisher's going to be there, but actually blocks them all off. Now the roll in from Zephyr with the Magnetize out. Onto 3 heroes. Whitemon also going to come in. They're just holding down Moon. Now with the freezing field out, Moon, can he survive this much damage output? He can. The Infighting Shield's going to come in. Masaros will be there to make sure he gets out. And Jackie is going to kill off Jabs. And that was an unfortunate kind of initiation there. So I don't believe they were expecting Jackie to blink strike into that neutral camp. But that he did.
Yeah, it's just painful missed opportunity.
Raven going to get saved by Masaros. Karl trying to go for the kill. Karl now going to be chased down. And with this, it looks like Karl is just set to die. So he does not have Firefly up and ready to go. Oh, he tried a TP as well. Oh, there's your TP on cooldown now. He does have BOTs up, so it's not really that long of a cooldown anyway. It's going to be back up by the time he respawns. But top lane, Jackie has been spotted by DJ. Raven going to show up as well. Jackie going to TP out of there, but the Fisher is out from Jabs this time around. They will surround Jackie. Can they get the kill? They'll commit the Echo just in case, and eventually he should just die, and he does. That's a very important pick-off together. He was just getting way too far ahead as this game went on.
Yeah, good punishment here from Fnatic. That's the target we wanted to see get punished. It did take quite some commitment, and of course they did sacrifice Jabs earlier for this kill, but it pays off eventually. You still are lagging behind here on Raven though. So his Battle Fury is still not done on the Troll. It looks like his time is going to be 2 minutes off, although they might be able to contest, but overall, I think the progress of Troll is just not lining up where you'd want it to. So they need to still buy some more space. That tier 1 mid is still standing, the top tier 1 standing as well. Fnatic is just not able to maximize their exorcism in the way they want, at least in terms of objectives. So I think they need to realign their vision here and just go for tower.
Masaros going to be surrounded down at that bot lane. He's in big trouble. He pops the borrowed time, trying to run, but he is all alone. They'll use him up in the air. He's got nowhere to go, but down towards the grave, and that is exactly where he is going. As Karl will take the kill on the Batrider now. I suppose they still get a tier 1 mid tower out of this though. So it's not really all bad news for Fnatic losing their offlaner. They do get a very valuable objective, and it is just before that 17-minute mark. So not really all bad.
Yeah, it takes a lot longer, but I think this is really Masaros' role in this game. Just be a nuisance, be up front, force responses out to free up Fnatic to focus on some early objectives and get something going their way. You do see T1 sort of clumped around mid. Karl is still smoked up, but he doesn't really have the best of angles to try to maximize it. And Fnatic, for their part, do have that Battle Fury in Raven. So it was around 2-3 minutes later than our PA. He's still going to find that steady farm now, and Raven does sort of keep himself tied up. He is falling behind even Karl. That should be fixed relatively soon. Still has a bit of a gap to close with that PA, though.
That he does. So line has been drawn out. Fnatic, they do smoke up as 3. Echo back up in about 9 seconds. Looks like they have spotted out Cuckoo on the Viper, but they try to avoid him. Their smoke does break, unfortunately, as Cuckoo was a bit too close. And Cuckoo gives Jabs the tip back, letting them know that they are well and truly aware of the presence of Fnatic in their own jungle. And ultimately, the smoke is going to lead to nothing. They'll just take over this Radiant side jungle. It's not really going to affect the side of T1 too much. They're okay with this. Maybe their T2 tower going down will affect them, but yeah, they're going to glyph it up. And if they did want to fight John, Jackie has a Deso up now.
Yeah, it's going to be a major spike for the PA. They're TPing in for the defense.
And he's been lassoed up. It's a massive target to go after, and he is all by himself behind that tier 2. He's still alive, however, but not for long. Masaros was not able to help him out. Now Zephyr, a great magnetize, forcing the battle trance out from Raven. They will kill off the Earth Spirit, but that's about all. Or maybe not. Cuckoo also dropping low. Whitemon, however, with the Frostbite is going to save his life for a little bit, but not for long. Still the Flame Break is there, and now Jackie willing to jump in after Raven. Doesn't commit all the way yet. We'll go back after Masaros, just crits him to death. Onto Raven now he goes. Raven still trying to chase the Batrider. We'll just go after some creeps as Jackie will get a double kill. Back onto Jabs. Jabs a bit of a sitting duck here. We'll throw a stun out, but that's all he can do as Carl will pick up the last kill that was there for Fnatic. And you know, with that team fight, John, the man that just picked up a Desolator is going to be well and truly on his way to a BKB.
Yeah, the timings Jackie's meeting is just a bit too deadly. They've left him alone too long. And you'd think after several seasons of seeing Jackie do this from Motivate Trust days, you'd figure out what you need to do. But he's been allowed to do it again. T1 has been excellent in buying that space out. They've got great faith in Jackie. Still maintains a 3k lead over the Troll now. And he's just really hard to deal with. Like, the Troll is just nowhere near.
This doesn't feel like a tanky Abaddon right now, I'll tell you, John. 20-minute power bounty runes are going to spawn up, but Fnatic will be able to secure the bottom ones as the side of T1 get the top ones. Things have certainly slowed down here for this Fnatic side. Now 3k behind at 20 minutes in. There's going to be a 5-man smoke up now. They really want to commit for this. It may feel somewhat obvious to T1, however, that every hero on the map is just currently missing, but Cuckoo does actually avoid the Fissure. They're still going to slow him up. Carl, blinking forward, does get a nice flame break off, but he wants a lasso target. He hasn't committed quite yet. It looks like they are just going to allow Cuckoo to go down. Not a bad pick up there for Fnatic, and they are going to go into that Roshan pit, perhaps.
Yeah, without the Viper, you lose a lot of your DOT control, your area DOT control. They could try to slide in with Zephyr. It looks like they are aware, so this is not going to be a free rush for him.
That it will not be.
The Battlelution is just allowed to be there. Was it in that spot in between? I think it was.
I believe it's been enchanted now, hasn't it? It won't matter. Aegis does go, and yeah, the Batrider illusion has been enchanted by our Enchantress DJ. So, Aegis the way of Fnatic, a pretty big win for them. Still going to be very hard for them to take a team fight into T1 right now. But at least with that secondary life on Raven, they should feel a little bit more confident trying to go for it. I'd say Raven is probably going to just try and rush the BKB first before they go for that big 5-man team fight with the Aegis. You just want to give yourself every single advantage you can get. So, Raven, he's not too far off anyway.
Yeah, just a little bit of patience needed here.
Yeah, he's going to be alright. He's flying to the other side. Masaros does spot him out, but Carl is a bit too quick. Yeah, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, not too much Masaros can do. And speaking of, you know, he's just trying to be someone that bails out his team, going for the Lotus Orb next on the Abaddon, as you tend to see. Is farming up steadily for it, but you've got to deal with his BKB and Jackie. So he's got it way earlier. They could look to fight now. The Jackies can just stand.
Oh no, the Echo is mistimed. Oh, it does no damage. Oh, very unorthodox mistake there from Jabs. Now Jackie going to jump in knowing they don't have the control. His BKB has worn off, however, but here comes Zephyr rolling in. Now the battle trance is there onto Cuckoo. They want that Viper dead. Jackie's also very low. Moon trying to take him out and might just get him. He will. No crits come out for Jackie. Meanwhile, Whitemon trying to channel the freezing field does at least get the Aegis of the Troll. But that's it for now, as Raven is going to respawn back up, going after Cuckoo. Meanwhile, Moon does kill off Carl on the sideline. They do at least get the Viper out, but that's all they get out. A 4-hero wipe there for Fnatic. And that's off a terrible kind of Echo Slam, as Jabs does return the favor onto Carl. But great news if you are a Fnatic fan.
Oh, it absolutely is. That was just one way to win a fight. Jeez, Fnatic. Like, Jabs doesn't find the angle, doesn't matter. They win out in the end. T1 just kind of scattered with their jump in. Bit of an early BKB pop there from our PA, so it's easily punished. And even without Exorcism, you've got this troll that can melt towers, so you've still got that ace up your sleeve. For Fnatic, they will just pull back. They did lose Aegis, but the BKB is going to be up for Raven in a timely manner. So even without the second life, he will have a BKB to play with. He's going to have Spell Immunity up. That's going to take away a lot of your damage from Cuckoo. The control you get from Whitemon and Zephyr is gone as well. So they will need to sort of watch themselves there, as it's going to be a nice spike for Raven. He's going to have at least one charge up compared to our PA, because obviously he does pick it up later. So in that sense, farming a bit slower for the BKB does sort of work out for Raven. The gap between Raven and Jackie as well has narrowed to 1k, so it's not as significant. Jackie's got to be a bit careful when he does jump in like that, although they do smoke up again here in T1.
They're going to give it a shot. If they can land the lasso onto Raven, that's probably the best way you could start the team fight off. You do have to be worried about Jabs. He has the Echo back up, but they're going to move in and Masaros does scout them out. However, Lasso, no, borrowed time is there. A wasted Lasso out from Carl now. It's Masaros, he just rushes in, he does not care, even without this borrowed time, but he might be in trouble. Zephyr, he's rolled in as well. They'll kill off Masaros. Meanwhile, Jackie trying to go after Moon, but Moon is going to be alright. Raven will also be forced to back. They do lose 2-0. T1, the best objectives they are going to get off the map for this is going to be the bounty runes. All 4 will go the way of T1, but they don't find any kind of towers or anything like that.
No, it's a bit of a waste as well. Those were BKB charges popping Carl.
Oh, Carl, he's in a very dangerous spot right there, trying to split push the creep wave. He doesn't have Firefly up, so Raven can definitely go for this chase. But Carl was able to blink away in time. Just fine. Still a very, very close match between these two, of course. Both of them playing to the best of their ability. As if they do lose this series, they might be on their way home. This 3k net worth lead, it feels like it's been standing for quite a while for T1.
Yeah,
Fnatic, they've been on the cusp for so long, Fnatic, on taking it back.
Yeah, it's really just down to Raven. Right now, he's the only hero that can really farm up. You pretty much sacked Masaros to be just this nuisance on the Abaddon, but there's really not much you can expect from him beyond just spamming out Photic Shield to break off the initiation, maybe getting some good use out of his borrowed time as well. So it's really just boiling into a Raven game. A little bit of farm going down to Moon would be nice as well. He is saving up for his own Aeon Disc. Eventually, once you've got that, a little bit more safety nets here for the DP can be really useful. But T1, better farm distribution overall. Cuckoo is, even on the Viper, just pulling ahead of Masaros, and T1 want to maintain that aggression. They do smoke up once more.
Oh, he found Jabs on the Earthshaker. It's a nice way to kind of start another team fight off if Jabs just gets taken out like this. He has no help on the way, but he does have a Shadow Amulet. It will not work out, however. Carl had the damage output, so now the rest of T1, they want to try and make something happen. Is that Echo being kind of just gone will really help the confidence of T1 in the next team fight. So they've got 30 seconds to play with, but they're not really in a position to go after a tower. Or maybe that bot T1, but that's really it. Not too big of a deal in the end for Fnatic.
No, definitely not. This is still a pretty nice way to widen that lead for T1. Just increasing the gold. We talked about the timings Fnatic had to meet with their Exorcism or their DP. They just haven't. Like, they've taken 2 tier 1s, 1 tier 2, but T1 are still sort of keeping control as well because they have taken a good amount of tier 1s themselves. So you don't really have a massive tower advantage here for the side of Fnatic. They're not really playing in the bottom jungle as well, despite taking that tier 2. So their farming options are still sort of limited, and they really need to just find an opportunity with Moon right now. Looks like they might be eyeing that top tier 1, but that might open up a tier 2 push here from T1.
It may. Fnatic still just hanging out up at that top lane. They will indeed go for that tier 1 tower. T1 will go for the tier 2 tower. So Still the positive end of things here for T1 if they do manage to finish this tower off. However, Fnatic are doing the exact same thing. Both teams glyphing up these tier 2s. However, it does seem like T1 are ready to try and initiate a team fight. Cuckoo is going to TP in. The tier 2 does go down. The kickback is there on Raven. Lasso not going to be there in time. The silence is there by Moon. They can keep trying. Raven, his BKB is set to wear off very, very soon, but Masros is going to be there to make sure they don't feel comfortable crossing the barrier, but Jackie just jumps in and crits him down. Borrow time was not there in time, and now DJ going to be in trouble as Jackie does make the jump again, finds a double kill, but they got the big one now. Raven, can they get lassoed up? Yeah, they can. They get the big one. The troll is going to die. That's a 3-for-0 trade. Both tier 2s going down as well. Another very positive style of team fight for T1. For Fnatic, it looks like they might just have to kind of bide their time and wait for Raven to have that MKB up. He's pretty close to it, but he needs a bit more time to completely finish it off.
The more time they take, though, the more they miss out on this core timing they've got for the DP. Moon does have a relatively close build-up on his Aeon Disc. He does have the parts to finish it up, but he's just holding on to it until he needs it. So just pocketing that for now. You lose another tier 2 here in Fnatic, and suddenly your tower advantage again disappears. Even on towers so far, which is not where you want to play with the DP. You needed to be so far ahead in objectives.
Jabs. He's going to find out Whitemon by himself, but doesn't feel too confident sticking around there. Whitemon, meanwhile, wants to 4-star forward and try to catch out Jabs. Crystal Nova, not going to connect. Jabs still on the run, is going to go for the Shadow Amulet TP, but no, it's not going to be enough. In fact, it was a Shadow Blade, is what it was. Jabs is still in pretty big danger here and is set to just die. And while that's happening, in the Thai jungle, they have gone onto Cuckoo, but Zephyr is going to roll in and kick Cuckoo out. He's still alive. He will try to throw out the Nether Toxin before he dies. Meanwhile, the rest of Fnatic will go after Zephyr. Looks like Jackie is not interested in sticking around any longer. They do get Zephyr out as well. He just rolls his way out of there. So ultimately a 1-for-1 trade, probably favoring Fnatic as they do find the POS 3 Viper. Overall, pretty even, I suppose. And well, T1, they're set up for a Roshan now.
It's not very clean for Fnatic. They lose the Exorcism, so it's another time you pop Exo without being near an objective, without finding big kills. Now you don't have Exorcism for a Rosh fight. So T1 slide in, it's just Jackie. Everyone else is standing outside, but they have no spells beyond, say, a slam coming out from Jabs. They just can't get there fast enough. So a good objective for T1 to take. Aegis and Cheese ready. They are aware with a creep being sent in, but it's just too little too late here.
Another Santa hat hits the dust. Jackie now with the Aegis and a Satanic and Cheese up. Oh, and in case that wasn't enough as well, by the way, John, Paladin Sword is there for Jackie. So the lifesteal is looking very, very nice for Jackie boy. And with that, they move into the dire triangle. Oh, DJ going to be the first one to be spotted out. Definitely the best target to die if you need one to die. However, a lasso is out on Moon, but the Aphotic Shield is going to save. Still Jackie jumps in Moon. He's falling very low. There is the Aeon Disc to save, and he does also BKB up, but Jackie jumps back in. This time after Masteros, and now the Echo coming out. Jabs. Uh-oh. And Jackie, he just jumped in and just took him out. Was that Echo meant to be for Carl?
He had a BKB though. Maybe he thought it would fade right then, playing on the edge, but doesn't pay off. And that's just going to be straight racks gone. Maybe even 2. They could go for that bot set of racks as well. And knowing that Slam is gone, they've got a lot of leeway to get that done. Maybe they're scared of Exorcism if it comes out. It just doesn't feel like Moon does enough. His Aeon Disc is also down for 50 seconds as well. So it's not going to be a very clean break for him if he does want to commit here.
Jackie gonna go after the the racks. The tier 3 is already gone. That'll be 2 Raxes out for T1 now. And suddenly Fnatic are in a much, much more difficult situation than they were just a few minutes ago. They could opt to go for a smoke here, but it's looking pretty tough. Even if they wanted to, T1, they have successfully backed out.
They do have the MKB up and Raven now on the side of Fnatic, so they have a way of ripping through the PA, and if they can isolate Jackie, that's such a big if. Right, like Jackie's just been on point when he jumps in. Fnatic needs to be the ones trying to force these fights. Jabs has to take center stage, start delivering the goods with his initiation tools, and his team has to be ready to back him up. So far, it's been really staggered initiations. It doesn't pay off that way in T1. They're just going to be eyeing that top lane out. Tier 2 still standing. Could take Tier 3 and just go from there.
Abyssal Blade coming out now for Jackie is going to be the, might just be the nail in the coffin here for T1. There it is. Even Carl has the full Octarine core up.
Oh, you know what? I did just spot out. Whitemon does have his shard. He's got that Frostbite enchantment.
There you go. You've got the Frostbite to protect yourself now. Fisher is not going to land on Carl.
Ooh.
Another smoke failed, and now Zephyr going to roll straight in onto Masseros. They'd love to take the Abaddon down first. They won't yet, however. They'll go after Raven instead. Raven, big trouble, trying to survive. Battle Trance is not going to come out. He gets crit to death by Jackie, and Masseros dies with him. Moon now just trying to run away. The daggers fly everywhere, and it looks like this game might just be coming to an end. They kill off DJ. They've killed off Moon. The buyback's just not there, and they call it. T1 do manage to take out game number 1, and Whitemon, thankfully, is showing off the Frostbite and the freezing field jump.
Yeah, you know, he made good use of it in that last fight. He rooted himself, taking away the damage that was being siphoned there by Moon. Then the lower cooldowns really hit, though. Like, it's so much utility for a CM if you can farm it up. Just having that uptime on the bite a lot more is big. Fnatic, it looked good early, and they were finding steady objectives. They were sort of getting farm on Raven, but they made one crucial mistake. They ignored Jackie. You never do that to Jackie. Not when he was in MG Trust, not now when he's in T1. He uses that space way too efficiently. He delivered the goods. I have to really say it, this was not a shining game for Jabs this time around. The initiations, it was hard. Like, the Batrider with Blink was very slippery. They had very fast BKBs on T1 side. But Fnatic need to be able to play when they've got these advantages. Like, that Blink reveal was not ideal. They couldn't fight around Exorcism, and if you can't do that, then your draft falls flat.
Absolutely. Of course, with that, John, we do have a secondary game coming up. Fnatic, they need to win this second game. T1, if they can get a 2-0 going for themselves, they do secure their spot in the lower bracket final, which is on tomorrow, of course. But for now, game number 2 will be coming up in about 10 minutes. And it's MLP Dota and John X Fire. We'll see you all again very soon for that second game. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for our second game of this best of 3 series between T1 and Fnatic. It's MLP Dota and John X5. John, fantastic news. Shout out to Tubeck39. Apparently we can make snowy cat jams now. And that is just in time. Because like I told you, John, Santa's casting tomorrow. And Santa loves snowy cats. And jamming, for that matter, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very timely, very in season. What was not timely was Fnatic's first game, Mike. They didn't hit the timings they wanted to with their DP draft.
Nope.
Blink timing was on point for jabs. I'm so used to saying DJ for that on the ES, but it just didn't line up. So really good of T1, really kind of treading the needle on their end in terms of maximizing their BKBs, baiting Fnatic in. Fnatic have to be very careful in biting that bait. They are one game away from being eliminated. So tournament lives on the line. Need to find a win to force it into game 3. And T1, of course, want an easy, fast night. So they're going to try to hammer in a win here. We'll see who does come out on top.
Absolutely.
10 seconds remain.
There's been a lot of chatter, John. I'm not sure if you've been seeing it. People asking who the best position 1 in SEA is right now. It's a very hard question to answer. And I actually asked March this after BTS. No, in fact, it was a Summit 13. I did ask March who he thought were the best position 1s. In his mind, he did say Gabby was still the best in SEA. Followed by, I think he mentioned Raven. And there was somebody else followed by Jackie. Now, I'd say Jackie is probably top 3 right now in terms of best position 1s. I think it's still pretty reasonable to say Gabby is probably top 1 in SEA. But that is to be proven, right? We are in BTS Pro Series 4. Yeah, there's a new patch going on, so maybe you're not going to see the best of everyone right now. But you've got to admit, like after a performance like we just saw, it is kind of hard to look past Jackie.
Definitely, I think him and Jackie and Gabby are just on a different level. I think what makes Jackie really unique is that it's sort of the same thing we saw, in my opinion, when we saw Savage pop out with Jinispris. It's
Right.
almost the same timings and almost the same playstyle where they just buy an infinite amount of space and get this past one. This guy just clears out the map really well. Jackie just plays that. He's just so efficient when he clears his camps. He's always on point. He knows where to be to avoid the enemies. He can read the map really well, and the enemies don't punish. So I think that's where Jackie's been really shining. I think the real test for him as a carry is if he can adapt in any other form, like say once he applies some pressure. We saw this happen with Savage early on, but when he'd received pressure like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, it wasn't the best results. And I think that's where you see the carries mature, which is where you see someone like Gabby. He kind of weaves in and out of free farm and aggression, and I think it's not necessary for Jackie now, but that's the next step for him as a carry. But definitely based on the performances, I think his team understands what they need to enable Jackie, and in that way, he might not be the best carry like in terms of overall history, but in the past few patches here and with how his team is playing, he's the one that looks best in my opinion.
Well, I suppose because his last game was in SEA, I can confidently say the best position 1 player is probably Anna in SEA, and then I guess everyone just follows after that. Anna probably still the god that he is. We don't know where he is, John. He's gone somewhere in the outback. He's I know he's been training. He's in like the hyperbolic time chamber of Australia. He's out in the bush somewhere, and I don't know what kind of training he's been doing, John. But once TI comes back around, I don't know. He might just pop up. Who knows? Still, we've got a draft on our hands, and we've got a potential team being eliminated this game, John. Draft has begun. Slaughter, first pickup from T1. Fnatic, they do go back to something they know very well in the Phoenix Clockwork. And this is actually a hero where I could see almost guaranteed that we will probably see the shards coming out. This Clockwork shards, on paper, looks good. When you play it, it kind of feels amazing. You get flying vision for 6 seconds. You are flying for 6 seconds. You can cancel the flying off with a hook shot. But overall, just having flying vision like a Bat Rider kind of does when he pops Firefly it's kind of broken, you know, especially if you're going for a big smoke or a team fight. Maybe you don't have a ward out quite yet. Maybe you want to invade the triangle of the enemy. You just turn on your jetpack. Suddenly you can see everything.
it does have that utility. I think again when you break it down, if you're a pause 5 clock, which it looks like Fnatic might be doing here, so we're seeing DJ pause 5 clock, Jabs pause for Phoenix, potentially fine coming out, or you could swap that. If it's a pause 4, you have more leeway, but at the same time, do you really want that flying vision over Force Staff, over maybe a Blade Mail, over an Urn into Spirit Vessel if you need that, over so many other combinations of items? It's nice, but I think that's something that comes out like at the 30-minute mark. If you get some decent farm into those earlier items first, maybe delayed further. I think the Ag still takes precedence, for example, over the Shard. Would be nice if you have the Ags though. Like overclock should affect that, right? Like you should get double jetpacks coming through with, so that's like 12 seconds of flying time if you really need it. For some reason, the fly once, hook shot, reposition yourself with a second flight, hook shot again. Could be a very potent combo overall. I think the Phoenix Shard is actually one to watch out for. With a constant spam on your spirits, it could be really nice. And Fnatic, they've got this basic combo. We haven't seen it too often nowadays. We saw it a lot more in Pro Series Season 3. Phoenix Clock, Cogs into Sunray. You can protect the egg somewhat as well. So it's a very solid combination. But T1, they hammer in the Slaughter PA so early on. They're
devastating.
Yeah, it's that strong combination. Just absolutely melts. I think Fnatic, they've also sort of trapped themselves in the support duo, so you don't have a natural support with save potential here, which could make it tricky to deal with a burst that PA is going to have.
I would agree. T1, oh, they go for a Shadow Demon pickup, which, you know, I've been hearing a lot of ramblings about this hero secretly being kind of broken. I tend to agree with those sentiments, especially with the ability to stack neutral camps. I realize it was nerfed. You don't get as much gold as a support anymore for those neutral stacks that you could make. But the hero is very, very strong. Disruption's always been kind of just amazing. The Purge is also amazing. And if you wanted to go for the shards now, John, you can purge your ally. You can constantly remove debuffs with that purge now by using it on your ally. And as well as that, the damage, instead of dealing damage, is now a heal to your ally. So overall, really not that bad of a shards if you wanted to go for that.
Definitely. You've got a lot of room for it. Shadow Demon's one of the weird ones where you could probably actually see that rushed, considering that Shadow Demons don't tend to need too much. I mean, you might want Glimmer Cape Force Staff first early on, but we do tend to see Shadow Demons as 4 rather than 5. Ooh. And I think in that situation, you have more leeway to get that farm up. Still Fnatic, they dip into the DK here. Could be off for Masaros. It's still an option on hand as well, but could also easily be our Moon Hero. This DK has tapered off in the past few months. Haven't really seen too much, but if you recall, the early half of this year, or midway through this year, we were seeing a lot of DKs rushing into the Ags, being a powerhouse or just Ags Blink. It is still a scary force. It gives you stable push here for Fnatic. Trying to recall if the Shard was anything major. It didn't really strike me when I was going through this one. Let's see, Dragon Knight Shard. It's the Fireball, so it's basically the Ancient ability. Right, the Black Dragon ability on a bigger scale. Really nice for wave clearing, but probably not something you rush. But still stable here to have. And Fnatic do keep a color scheme here, Mike. It's all red so far.
Is it, John? I mean, I feel like you always push this a little bit. I mean, it's
Clock
red.
Is reddish. Clock is reddish. It could pass. Could pass. Right. He's a pass to me.
All right, I'll give it to you, John. If they choose another red hero, then I'll go with it. But
it's gone. Yeah.
T1, 45 seconds reserve time left. They've got a very dark theme going, as you would probably say, John. Hell, I could make the PA look purple if I wanted to. You know, it's just, who cares, as long as I say it. There's a Treant Protector coming out now. So, Treant is another hero we don't get to see very often, but it is quite potent. Obviously very good into the DK as well. Because as a DK, you want to pop Dragon Form, you want to push down a tower. Maybe you get through, maybe halfway through the tower. But now you've got this Treant who's going to pop Living Armor on the tower over and over again. And unless you have your full team kind of committed to forcing down those towers, the DK probably is not going to be able to do it himself. However, Fnatic do pick up a Spectre. And some things never change. Spectre is still quite strong.
It is. Dispersion scaling has been sort of buffed up, but the highest end of its dispersion is now 20% from 22. So it's not as amazing. Early Spectral Dagger as well is not as good. Mana cost has bumped up initially, so it's 130 at level 1. Still scales into 160, but the cooldown has increased to 22 base, scaling down back to 16. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. Overall, I don't think itemization is going to change. You should still expect a Blade Mail build, which is nice against a PA, to be fair. Right, PA is one here that Dispersion and Blade Mail is actually going to hurt in a big way. So Jackie's got to watch out for himself. So far, T1 don't have a natural breaker here, so the Spectre's got a lot of room and just kind of being a menace with the passives. In fact, that's the Spectre and the DK having that leeway. You also have the Spectre Phoenix coming out with a healing on the Sunray. So it's overall very stable for Fnatic. They don't have the best in terms of overall like wide AoE control. They do have the egg for sort of area denial. Maybe if you follow up with your Clock and DK in a good form, you can sort of match it up. But it doesn't compare to Crush, Dispersion into Crush, with the Overgrowth as well from Treant, which now interrupts again. So I think when it comes down to a 5v5, Fnatic's got to temper how they go in and really time themselves with how Raven pops that Haunt on the Spectre.
Final banouts, we do see the Puck and Mars being removed. Fnatic, they are the ones to pick up their last pick, and I do believe we are waiting for, excuse me, a Masaros hero. Or maybe not, they bring out the Snapfire. So perhaps DK off, they run the Snapfire mid, and the Spectre safe lane, of course. It could still be the DK mid and the Snapfire off, but I'd say that's kind of less popular. And, with T1, they'll be kind of forced to make their own decision now. They are lacking a mid lane here for Carl. I wonder what they want to see. They don't have the option for the Batrider again, so you can't go back down that route. He doesn't have the Ember either, which we've seen Carl play a lot of. Does tend to enjoy playing that Ember Spirit, but not this game either. Could try for the Storm if you really want. Could be considered a little bit greedy, but I don't know, maybe you want something with a bit more team fight. You know, maybe a Kunkka comes out here.
Would tie really nicely with the healing you have on the Treant and the Overgrowth as well. So if you were looking for team fight domination, that's one way to do it, the Kunkka. Not too much time left. Could be a Cuckoo last pick and flex the Slaughter mid. They go to Doom, which is one way to get their own lockdown in, get some good control out. So it is the Snapfire for Moon. Looks like we have the DK for Masaros in the off lane. I have to say I'm a bit iffier on core Snap now, mainly because your Ag's timing is pretty... It's gone. It's gone. They fixed the big issue, and this is what I talked about, right? With base damage at 400 with a burn just led to 700 total damage. Now that it scales with your Kisses levels, the raw DPS output of the Ags is dropped down. You're not deleting heroes. You'll need to put in a little bit more work. And if you're clever about it, you might be able to run out now if you do have to face off against that. So it would be interesting to see what Moon prioritizes. The Ags is still strong, but it's not an instant delete button early. I think that's something Fnatic's going to have to realize. But you got some value changes as well on little Shredder costs. So you do have some leeway there. Of course, you've got the Snap Clockwork combo coming through. So Hookshot in with the Kisses flying out is fairly potent. And you don't have an easy way for T1 to break that off from the back. No reach at all. In fact, no naturally highly mobile hero here beyond the PA for T1. So we're going to have to see if they can hit their blink timings here on Cuckoo and Carl. Maybe even Whitemon's going to need a blink here just to get him in the good spot to get Overgrowth. But I have to say, Whitemon's got a pretty interesting Treant set. That's a spooky one to have, eh?
It definitely is, John. It's like kind of like Deadwood, right? Just a dead tree. Very, very upsetting stuff.
Yeah, he looks burnt out as well, doesn't he? Like just a charred corpse of a tree.
Yeah.
Unless that's like a texture bug. I can't tell anymore.
It's a feature, John. We don't do bugs in Dota. Or just features.
Yeah, that's fair. Like stacking was a bug turned into a feature, right?
True. That is very
that's
true.
That's a carryover from the engine. So
that is something people
that's just how we
forget.
roll.
That is something actually people forget, that you weren't meant to be able to stack jungle creeps. It was a bug, and they were like, you know what? It's cool feature. Let's just keep it. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's really nice, and of course you see it used so much now. Like in the most recent games, you've had to nerf the stack bonus stack gold. Of course, that was something that was added what in 7.0 when you got gold from stacking for your support, or I don't know. It feels like forever now, but that was also just sort of recently hammered in. Still, values are lower, so you don't see support scale as much. But we'll see what happens here. Some good moods from both sides. The good looks fly out. Whitemon's not in a position to whack the Roche though, so I'm already disappointed here.
We saw how it worked out in game 1, John. They did pull off the victory, and Whitemon is definitely playing with fire by not hitting this Roshan. Maybe there's just a pattern to it. Of course, we haven't figured out why he does it yet, John. He just sometimes does it. Generally speaking, I don't know what the win rate is on when he does do it, but I'm going to take a wild guess and say that he wins more than he loses once he's done it. So it just sounds better for the story if I say that, John. It doesn't sound very good if he doesn't win when he hits the Roshan.
He does tend to win when he does that, so we'll see if taking this gambit of not hitting the Roche before the Horn is going to pay off. Maybe Zephyr will do it for us. Nah, he doesn't. So just taking a risk here, but it looks like they will just get even bounty runes. No excitement over that scuffle. We'll have to see how, these lanes will unfold. Looks like we're going to have a steady lane up top. It's the Slardar played by Cuckoo. He's going to have Zephyr, and that pause for Shadow Demon around. So you've got that disruption set up into the double stun with Slithering Crush and Bash from Deep if you do manage to pump it up. Very scary lane once you hit level 2, level 3 on these two heroes. You're going to have to watch yourself. DJ on his clock and Raven on that Spectre will sort of have to watch their spacing. DJ can sort of be disruptive, but disruption itself is going to take away the potency of his battery assault. So just not going to be as good in isolating heroes because those clones can cop the damage instead.
It's a very, very tough lane here for this clock. I mean, once you put the cogs up, it can be a bit easier, right? Because you have the cogs, you can kind of push the enemy away a little bit, and that might allow you to save Raven if he does get disrupted. But overall, it's a very ugly laning situation here for DJ. I'm very curious to see how he does deal with it. Of course, over to the mid lane, we do see Moon up against Carl. The Moon last time around did dominate the lane, but did end up losing the game. This time around, up against the Doom, it can be argued that it is much harder to win the lane outright, as well, the Doom doesn't really lose lanes because of Devour. So there should be a much more even kind of matchup between these two. I'm curious to see what kind of itemization Moon goes for, but I assume he will probably opt for the Axe Rush, as we are used to seeing, even with the nerfs that did come out recently. Only time will tell, though, I suppose.
Yeah, still should be a rather even time here. I think the main focus for Carl is just going to be in maximizing his Devour.
DJ, top lane, is definitely dead. Zephyr will be the one to take the kill. Raven is going to try and dish out some damage back to Cuckoo. He does get quite a bit off, but they're going to be very happy with that first blood. While that was happening down at bot lane, Jabs got very, very low and was able to just get himself out of there. Or I say that Jackie's jumped back in. Doesn't have the damage output. Does at least force the Icarus dive out from Jabs, and it looks like Jabs is just going to make the run back towards the fountain.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent start for T1 overall. Their side lanes are going really well. Jackie's finding some steady farm despite being in DK lane. So you don't really see Monsters being able to leverage this Breed Fire spam as much as you'd expect. It's not as annoying if you don't get that landing. So Jackie just gets to farm up freely, which is not necessarily what you want. They did cut the tree line though, so they're not expecting Whitemon to get some space out without the trees to play with, but you're still not stopping Jackie's farm, which is the bare minimum T1 wants out of this lane anyway.
I agree. Looking back over to mid, as expected, very, very even between these two. Nothing to really see here. I mean, props to Moon though, he's getting a lot of denies off on this Snapfire. He's going to be careful though, he's taking a fair bit of damage out from Carl, and of course Carl with that ice armor now is not going to feel too threatened here by Moon. As you can just see, he's taking literally no damage. He's able to just walk away, and Moon can't really auto-attack this Doom up. He'll go back in for the range creep as well.
Ooh. It's always kind of saddening when you see someone expend, like, say, the Scatter Blast, get the Knight in their face still. I mean, it's not... I mean, he's still fine with farm, but overall, Carl's just keeping check really well. We are going to hit those 4-minute power runes coming out soon. Neither supports are really in a good spot, although you do see Whitemon start running up. And they do have some better wards coming out here on the side of T1 as well.
Jabs and Whitemon trading, and so was Zephyr and DJ, but DJ blocks the path there with the cogs. Unfortunately for Fnatic though, Carl is still going to get very lucky, and he's going to get the bot power rune for himself on the Doom. Even after all that kind of setting up for the power rune, it just doesn't work out Fnatic's way. That's luck of the draw, I suppose. It's Moon. He's trying to get a lot of damage out on Carl, but he just won't die with this Devour passive regen on top. Suppose it's a very quiet game, though, between these two.
Yeah, I mean, they're just building up in their lanes, trying to play it steady. You've got these two cores that take some time to be online. Raven is not having as free of a time as Jackie, but it doesn't need to. Cuckoo.
Yeah, Cuckoo's in trouble, but Zephyr's going to be there with the disruption. Even without that disruption, I'm not sure it would have been enough damage output on Cuckoo anyway. But it's... you just can't really hope for many kills up this top lane. Still DJ forcing back the Slaughter. Zephyr does manage to take away the bounty, but it may have cost him his own life. He's going to make a run. The battery sold is there, though, from DJ. And that'll mean that Zephyr is indeed going to die. And eventually DJ is going to make the rotation into the Radiant Triangle. He does manage to take the bounty rune back the way of Fnatic.
Yep, just ends up being even on the bounties, but they do get a nice pickup here for Fnatic. DJ definitely wanting those kills on the pause 5 clock to enable him to get some levels in, maybe help him progress towards his level 6 as well. Not really finding an opportunity mid. Carl's already at 6, has the Doom ready, so any sort of rotation could be costly if you don't get enough damage out. They are just going to probably camp around until the 6-minute mark once more to help Moon secure some of those power runes, and you really want to get them up because Moon does have a bottle, so he's just wanting those refills up ASAP.
That he does. He's going to find that one, but Carl is going to commit a Doom straight off the bat. Whitemon is going to be there as well with the vines out. Jabs, however, nice body blocks to make sure they can't keep up, but they are still dishing out some damage. With that Scorched Earth out, it won't be quite enough now. Moon, after that initial Doom, will look to turn back around. They're looking down Whitemon on that Treant. They'll spot him out, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to keep up. And nothing comes out of it. I suppose for Fnatic, you did get Doom wasted, so it's going to feel nice. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so I'd say you don't care too much for your T1. Looks like they're not going to leave that lane anyway. Up top, though, they rotate out with the Kisses.
They do. Cuckoo, actually very low, but not low enough to die. Survives on about 40 HP through those Kisses, and well, he has some tangos. He has a double braces up, so he could really just wait for the passive regen, but he's not going to bother. He will just make the way back down towards the fountain, and of course, it wouldn't be Cuckoo if he didn't give the tip over to the Snapfire, who did miss out on the kill.
And the laughs come out as well. T1, they're not too annoyed by that. They know that Moon needs to find these kills for the Kisses. Your core snap again is still fairly tied into the Ag's timing, but when you reveal it before any sort of magic damage mitigation comes into play, the Moon needs that timing up. He's trying to clear the jungle by himself as well. This does take some farm away from Raven, so you're also stalling out your Spectre's timings. And speaking of Raven, his last hits have really lagged behind. In fact, all the cores on the side of Fnatic have dropped off, although they are jumping Carl.
They are. Carl is getting low. Disruption is going to be out onto Jabs, and Zephyr is doing a great job thus far. They just aren't able to get kills on anyone because Zephyr is always getting disruptions off. And that's going to be another kind of opportunity that just kind of goes down the toilet there for Fnatic. So they weren't able to secure this big Doom kill that they wanted. I suppose on the brighter side, it is buying a bit of space here for Raven, but you also run into that same problem we had last game for Fnatic, where Jackie is still having a very, very free time. And by the way, John Masteros, he is trying to push down the, Meteor Hammer Dragon Knight.
Yeah, I believe Masaros has done this a couple of times in the past 2 days as well. So he's just going for that fast push strat. Does melt towers quick. Makes it hard to defend, but it's not going to be helping you in controlling Jackie. He does go away, but if they find his objective, it could be worthwhile.
Well, they are eventually going to get it. Whitemon, he has some help coming in. No points in the living armor right now. Cogs are going to be out from DJ to push him back, but another Meteor Hammer should take care of that Tier 1 tower. And it looks like this side of T1, well, they're going to get a deny off at least. But DJ is going to be fine to get out of there. And everyone else from Fnatic is also going to successfully just back out. And I suppose, yeah, you'd probably say that is a very successful kind of time here for Fnatic. So T1, they get nothing out of that bot lane.
You can't really stop a DK once he has this Meteor Hammer in. Just solo pushing the lane. So Masaros has given himself a spot to play with. And there are some good wards here from T1 to watch any movement in jungle though. But this response is buying some space out for Raven, as you mentioned. He's still playing that jungle. T1 are just not contesting, as we have seen before. They do tend to play a bit faster. They want to hunt in jungle, but right now they're just trading evenly in farm. So RPA still is slightly ahead, but you do have an earlier Blade Mail for Raven, so his farm acceleration is slightly faster now. Not going to be enough to close the gap, and even with the Blade Mail, the farm is there. It's just, it doesn't feel as amazingly fast as you'd want it. He misses the stack as well, so just a slight point off for the efficiency there.
Absolutely. Still trying to get the job done. So they are slowly starting to set up here, T1, to go after this top Tier 1 tower.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Jabs is going to be there to try and defend this as the Phoenix. Well, Fnatic, they've smoked up, and they're going to rotate through their own jungle, back up towards the top lane. But yeah, the scan does come out. T1 going to successfully back off. In fact, they'll go for a counter smoke now.
There is little hope for Radiant's middle.
I don't think Jackie should really come along though, right? Like he's got a lane to farm. He's getting very close to that Battle Fury timing. So he doesn't really need to try and join his team to fight right now. And quite frankly, they don't really need him. So they are going to spot out DJ. Smoke will break. DJ. So to get the rocket flare out, and Carl is not going to be able to keep up with the clockwork. They are both going to be fine. So Hookshot is back in from DJ onto Whitemon. Gets the Nature's Grasp out into the Leech Seed, but Whitemon is taking a fair bit of damage and he will go down. Now Jabs in with the Icarus Dive and the Egg. Mortimer's Kisses to fly in and the Haunt being committed. They want so much out of this. They are going to be able to stun up Cuckoo, and they will get the Slaughter into Zephyr now on the Shadow Demon. He was on the side of the Roshan pit and he will be the third to die. Fnatic, a very, very nice team fight for them.
Yep, really good, successful first haunt as well. And this is going to open up a bit of a push on that mid-tier 1. Masaros once more with a Meteor Hammer, just going for the objectives, going for the safe play. And if they find a steady pace here, it could be hard for T1 to get that space out. But they've turned the numbers out. Whitemon with the levels up on the living armor is enough to slow down the push. And Fnatic knows better than to keep forcing their bodies out while their ults are down. So they're just going to have to wait for a bit of a reset, start going in again. Those kills are pretty darn big though, and it is keeping Fnatic close in terms of net worth, but you still see Jackie and Carl taking the lead here. Carl especially with his Midas buildup just means that our Doom is set to keep building up farm. The Blink Dagger, once that's up on Carl, does mean they've got instant Dooms available, or at least easier to access Dooms, and that is the big one. We talked about T1 lacking that easy initiation without any highly mobile heroes, so the blink timing on Carl and Cuckoo are just key to the lineup to start finding some pickoffs of your own.
He's Raven got very low on that jungle. Thought we might miss a kill there, but not quite. Everything's fine. The top Tier 1 eventually going to be taken out. Jab's still around to try and defend. He's going to go for an Icarus Dive away, and of course you can just Sunray off the map. No problem. As far as Phoenix goes, that's probably never going to be fixed. It's a feature now. We'll just leave it at that.
Oh yeah, it's working as intended. Of course, again, Mike, it's never a bug in Dota 2. It's always a feature, unless it's fountain hooking. Then that's a bug.
That's a bug for
I
some
miss
reason.
that. I miss it. I miss it.
Oh, Jackie could be in big trouble, but no, what a backstep!
That wasn't even on purpose.
No, it
was just
wasn't.
done with a camp.
That was just dumb luck from Jackie. Complete luck out, and poor DJ, he just walks off like, I can't believe this guy just had to click backwards one time when I went for a hook.
Could bite them in the bum as well with no hook, but they're not going to go for the offensive. T1, a lot more reeled in of a game for them, just really defensive. They've got this Blink and Carl now, though. Once it flies in, we might see Carl opt to do something with his Blink Doom available.
Well, you'd imagine he does it ASAP. Battle Fury also coming out now on the PA, so Jackie's going to skyrocket and farm again. Raven, of course, is very, very dead set on just making sure that he keeps the farm up. Doing a great job of it, just in the Ancients, just in this triangle, just continuing with this farm. However, down at the bot lane, they have smoked up, and Carl does commit that Doom straight away. Now with the overgrowth out, that means that Moon is set to die. Can they get a deny off on him? Masaros won't even try for it. He'll try to run himself, but now a Horn comes out. Perhaps in the mid lane, it looks like they have caught out Cuckoo, but he's on the river. He can easily just try and run away. Icarus Knife and Egg is going to be committed by Jabs, but that Egg might just be set to die unless he can get it off in time, but he cannot. And it's always the biggest bait trying to chase the Slaughter on the river. It just never works out in the other team's favor.
No, it's not something you should opt for. All of a sudden, T1 have a 4K lead on their end, 4-4. You've got the Battle Fury up on Jackie, so he is just set to escalate. Fnatic, they had the right idea while go roaming in. They need to keep trying. Just, maybe wait for the next haunt. If not, then just move us 4. Look for Jackie, because you are not winning this farm war with a Spectre. Like, the Blade Mail might be there. It might simplify the process of clearing out these camps. It is in no way the same as a PA Battle Fury here. So, if you want to play this farming game, you have to be aware of that. Masaros as well. I mean, he's still trying with a Meteor Hammer, but with the heals coming out now on the Living Armor, it's just kind of cancelled off now.
They're going to still give it a crack. Nature's Grasp is there onto the creeps. Zephyr, the Shadow Poison, really going to just delete this creep wave, but Masaros is not done yet. He continues. Cuckoo, however, now going to TP in. He can just frontline for the team. They'll stun him up with a Cookie Yard and a Meteor Hammer and a Hook Shot and a Sun Ray being thrown out. Cuckoo's comp and everything, but Disruption is going to be there. The kiss is still going, however. They will finally take him down, but they might lose DJ in response. He's gone to the Purge damage. Zephyr getting a little bit greedy moving forward, but it won't matter. They still get the kill, and the Tier 1 tower will remain standing. As Moon does come back for a cheeky little cookie. It won't work out. They'll heal it back up. By the way, John, did you point out Ethereal Blade on Moon?
Dire's top tower
Oh, wait,
is
really?
under attack.
Yeah.
Huh.
Ethereal Blade.
Okay. I mean, Scatter Blast is pretty good damage. I
you seen
guess
the
you
shards?
can amp that up. Yeah.
It
yeah.
does even more damage when you get the shards, John, and it stuns for
Ooh.
1.5 seconds.
Oh, that's gonna be dank. Let's see if he does actually opt for shorts. You'd reckon so. All right, so that
Of
I
course.
suppose that's one way to play it. We'll see if it works out the way he expects it to. You are giving Jackie again this free farm. His Desolator is almost done, and then it's straight into the BKB. So once you have that BKB, this timing is not gonna be as amazing as you'd reckon it is. So we'll see if Moon's reveal is gonna be in a big way. So you have to appreciate this classic Treant game, you know, just constantly healing that mid-tier 1, and the enemy keeps bashing their heads against it. The Fnatic have tried, what, 2-3 times now? Just not working out. They do have a Blink coming out in Masaros as well, so they have some initiation here.
It's like the perfect hero for Whitemon, because you can imagine him laughing the whole time. As he's just spamming Living Armor on this this tower, just laughing manically at the fact that they're never going to get through it. Moon has to cookie up the high ground, but he's been purged up. This will force the rotation out from Jabs. Now DJ going for a quick hook shot in onto Cuckoo. They'd love the Slaughter dead, and with the Haunt in, they should be able to get him. Even committing the Mortimer's Kisses, they might even get Whitemon, that pesky tree and protector, trying to run, but he is going to die. Raven able to pick that kill up, and maybe now they can commit for this tier 1 mid tower.
Oh, Masaros?
Well, Masaros jumping in, has found Zephyr with the Meteor Hammer to drop. They find another. Fnatic getting a 3-for-0 trade, and the tier 1 mid is going to feel very good for them.
They do take it out. It does take them 18.5 minutes, but they find some big kills as well. Good amount of gold going the way of Fnatic. I don't think T1 minds too much. They've managed to keep it alive long enough. They are also at the point where I believe the Desolator of Jackie's already up.
It is.
So Battle Fury with Deso at 18, 19 minutes in. Gonna be big, although.
Oh, he gets it at the right time, but Masaros is going to be there with the stun out. They've got so much damage there. Jackie's still going to be able to just pounce away. Moon did not have the damage output. DJ's going to hook shot in, but Jackie just won't die. He'll jump back in. They take down Moon. Now the stun out. Who have they found there? It's going to be Masaros on the DK, and Jackie will take the kill. And usually a very quiet Jackie makes the nightmare noises, John. And that is going to be a bit of a nightmare for Fnatic, as they committed so much. They got so far, but in the end it didn't even matter.
Oh, Mike, you are feeling very lyrical tonight, Mike.
Well,
Still,
we can't play the songs on Twitch right now, John. I've got to do something to entertain the viewers.
Still, they're going into the Roshan. This is when it gets ridiculous. Curse of Haze with Desolator. You can't stop that.
No, you can't. On to Jabs. Jabs going to go for an Icarus dive away into the Sunray. Jackie, meanwhile, kills DJ somehow. The egg's going to be forced out, but this is a bit disastrous. Does he even get there in time? It looks like he just may. Jabs, he gets the egg off. Carl, he committed a BKB for this. That may be a real problem for him, as now he just has to keep running on towards Fnatic, but it won't matter because they control him up. They'll take him out, and that actually ends up being a really nice play from Jabs.
Yeah, it pays off in a big way. A good gold swing out for Fnatic, so they are very happy with that pickup. They also waste the fresh BKB. Carl not going to be very pleased with himself. They get the transition to push up top, but they're ready for the defense.
Yeah, they're going after Moon. They got the main target there. Still, Overgrowth going to come out as well. Here comes Jackie on the PA, but Moon has gone into that ghost form, or has he? Jackie just jumps in and takes him out. On to Masaros, this DK. He looks tanky, but he really is not that tanky. Not when you have that much minus armor there from Jackie and Cuckoo. And those are two core pickoffs. A 9k net worth lead now for T1. And the Ethereal Blade from Moon, I mean, it's a good concept, but so far it's not really working out in his favor.
No, it's really not. The issue is, I guess the primary stat gain of Moon isn't that amazing as well. I mean, it's 3.3 per level, but it's not like he stacks strength. And it's not like you're Morphling where you can just stat dump the rest of your stats in. So the burst damage isn't looking good yet. He has to close the gap in order to really maximize his scatter blast. He is not rushing the Ag shard as well. So he is going for a blink, more of a utility initiation tool, just to get himself in the right spot. T1, despite those couple of trades here and there, have really overtaken. Jackie's back at that ridiculous point. 14k net worth. Raven's not even close at 9.9. BKB's up, so he doesn't even need to worry about the magic damage. And they smoke up.
Yeah, this is very problematic now. Fnatic, DJ going to run into the smoke, but he's going to have to pay for it for the team. He'll tank the gank. Some more. Jabs going to hide in the tree line for now, and he is going to be safe.
Raven.
Yeah, Raven will be a big one. He is going to back off at the exact right time. But the tier 2 mid tower cannot back off, John. It has to stand its ground. With this Desolator up on Jackie, it really is not going to take too long if they do commit. T1, they're just kind of running in circles, trying to find a target to go on. Jackie says, that's not creeps I'm hitting, that's a tower. They're back for the creeps now.
Yeah, I mean, why not? They've got a lot of time left. Under Aegis, about 2 minutes to go, so they can take their time here. Just get some farm going. They do have Jackie really accelerating towards this Basher to good form. So once you have that, I think you're going to be worried about even less on his PA and...
Oh, they've jumped in. Masaros in with the stun. Meteor Hammer is going to be cancelled. No, it's not. It's going to drop. Jackie, however, going after Moon, is by himself right now. His BKB is set to wear off soon. DJ, meanwhile, going to hook shot in onto Cuckoo and that Slaughter. He's a bit of a sitting duck. They'll just surround him and take him out. Meanwhile, Masaros, he was trying to go for a bit more, but he could not find a target. And one thing's for sure, John. Every time Raven does get involved in these team fights for Fnatic, it does seem to work out in their favor. So perhaps that's kind of the idea here, is just waiting out the Spectre until Raven is ready to go.
Yeah, every time they've got the haunt, usually ends in a pretty good success story. Issue for T1 is Jackie's just kind of running around a bit, like a headless chicken. Like he was trying to rush up into a fight by himself with no real vision into the jungle, so there was an access point for Fnatic to sneak into. You've got to be a bit careful about that on the PA, even with the BKB. Your damage at, well, I was going to say it's not amazing at level 20, but it is actually rather amazing. You just need more items up. So some patience for Jackie is called for. Fnatic with these couple of kills are feeling nice, but they're still 10k behind. So there's still a considerable gap to close out here. And T1, for their part, they're running out of time on that Aegis. Just about half a minute left. So it looks like they might not just find anything, just opt to use it for farming. It has secured Jackie a good timing into the Basher. He's, what, 500 gold away from that. So your PA is going to have really good item timings overall anyway. And that's still going to be an issue for Fnatic regardless.
That it is. T1, they're going to go for another smoke up.
Is under attack.
Jackie's not with them this time around. It's only a 4-man smoke, and they're going to run into Moon.
Scanning for enemies.
Scan out, they know exactly where they are. Maybe they're going to the backlines here. Cuckoo just on the river. Fnatic just holding the high ground, knowing they could come from any moment or any way. The bounty will be taken. Cuckoo is going to back out straight afterwards. Seems like that's all they wanted to get the bounty rune advantage. Carl will be able to get the other ones up at the top lane. Speaking of Carl as well, John, once he has that Ags up, it's going to be a lot harder for Masaros and Raven to survive. The damage output is kind of insane once you have that that Aghanim Scepter Infernal Blade.
No, it's the Doom now. It's back to applying break and reduces the CD. So,
oh, right.
Yeah, it's down to a 100-second cooldown, and of course the break is still going to be issues here for Masaros and for Raven. It's the Shard now that has his nice little upgrade for his Thingamabob for his Infernal Blade. We'll see if he picks it up, but 100-second cooldown
that's
on
right.
Doom, that is pretty nice.
They put the whole level death thing in as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Love
Which
to
is
see
pretty dank.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, it's back. I missed that. Love that. No one, you know...
For any of the young kids out there, John, we actually had to do math when we played Doom back in Dota 1.
Honestly, I never even cared about it. It's like, all right, I'll just throw it out. If it does damage, that's awesome. If not, I'm just an idiot anyway.
I was very good with my times tables, John. Very, very good. Jackie, Masaros gets the jump in on the PA first. Meanwhile, to the north, Cuckoo trying to spot out a target. It looks like they do really want that DK first. Carl still rushing in with the Doom, but Jackie jumps in and just shreds the DK apart. Raven is going to just haunt in. Back after Zephyr. Zephyr's fine so far. A massive Mortimer's Kiss is coming in, but they've lost DJ. Raven trying to chase down Carl, but he has a BKB up, and he's going to be just fine. They bought back on Masaros for this. It does not really pan out, however. It's still a 2-for-1. They only found the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, it's not enough to compensate for that. One big issue there was, as well as that was T1 forcing a fight without using Doom. So Carl, with his Ags upgrade, just very cautious with his spell use. Doesn't even drop it to get that win. They don't find the big heroes, but the ults are down. It could be T1's time to circle back in if they wanted to. Looks like they might just wait for the Roche respawn timer to reset, but they are taking control of that river. They've got a good ward spotting this movement too.
Oh, Masaros doesn't want to die back like this, but the Corrosive Haze is going to come out. They are a bit preemptive in their jump, just thinking about it. Very cautious stuff. So they just kind of oh, that's a quick Roshan. They forced them back, and Roshan is a 7-second timer. And Whitemon, he feels it in his bones, or maybe
no,
he doesn't.
Whitemon, go back in.
No.
Go back in. Your friend's there. Oh, they find it first with a flare.
Oh, DJ finds it. However, Raven has been caught. There's your Aghanim Scepter on Carl as well, so the break has been applied. This Raven is getting low, but the Sunray going to help, and DJ with the hook shot in is going to make it so they can't finish off the kill. DJ is going to die for his trouble, but it won't matter if Raven does survive, and he does. Great news out for Fnatic. But I don't think
Oh,
T1's necessarily done yet. I believe they still want to go.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Overgrowth back up. They might not have Doom, but they've seen that they can win fights without Doom anyway. So they could go hunting. Unfortunately, again, they could easily just go for the Roche that they're not aware is up. They might circle around there instead. They still have this 15k lead. And Fnatic, their investment in Raven here is really... It's just not looking great. He's right behind Carl and Jackie, but that's not where you want to be as a Spectre. So a lot more time needed here. And they do... No, they still haven't gotten into the Roche, and Fnatic keeps checking.
Fnatic, Masteros gonna break his smoke, does jump in anyway with the Dragon form. Jackie still around, gonna make the jump into the back lines. He goes straight after the clockwork and gets one. That's DJ gone. Jackie popped his BKB for this, but is not gonna rush in for more, not quite yet anyway. Masteros, however, Corrosive Haze is there, and now the dagger flies in. The damage output is just way too high from this PA. Jackie's feeling it right now. I feel like he can sense the advantage they have. 16k ahead on T1. And you can see the hesitation from Raven. He knows that he's just not ready to go for these big team fights. I mean, he's literally 7k behind the PA. It is a very, very tough time for Fnatic.
It definitely is. At the least, they've got DJ back up if he wants to get in position, but it's just...
Oh, Hauntin, he wants to try and go for that Aegis. However, Jackie, no one picking it up yet. Jackie, he does get in the nick of time. Both of them just stacking on top of the Aegis. Now Jackie going to jump onto the backlines into Moon. Cuckoo not getting the stun off onto Raven. Jabs, Sunray there onto Zephyr. Zephyr disrupts himself up. Jackie's coming for that Phoenix, but Jab's still alive, not being spotted yet. Now the Cookie takes out Zephyr, but they are going to lose the Phoenix in response. Do they want to jump back in? Cuckoo is playing around here on the river, but Jackie jumps straight into the Cox, onto DJ.
Oh.
There's your Overgrowth out. The Blade Mail is going to wear off on Raven. He's been left behind. He'll Spectral Dagger and just run away. They get the Corrosive Haze off, so Jackie, he can jump back in, and he will. No crits out yet. Masteros gets a stun off into the Meteor Hammer. Jackie stunned up. Cuckoo, he wants to keep going. Masteros is just going to melt. He'll cop the crit from the PA, and Raven is not safe yet. He's in the tree line, but the Corrosive Haze is going to give vision. He's on an ultra kill. Now out onto Moon. They want the Rampage, but Moon is going to deny it away. He'll blink into the tree line. But this PA, it's hitting a bit too hard, John. It's looking really tough for Fnatic.
This is why you ban out the Slardor and the PA as a combination, but you just can't afford to ban out both in the opening. And T1, feeling confident, just hammering it in, gets this combination, is on a roll. I mean, Jackie right now is 13-0. 13-0 on PA. Just perfect game for him so far. Let's see if he can maintain it. Fnatic, it's really falling apart. They lost Raven in that fight. They need to play around Haunt every single time. They will body up on Raven soon, so that is good news. But I don't think the Scotty alone is going to cut it. They need so much more, and I have to say, this build-up on Moon, it's not working out the same way that you'd want. He is about to hit his level 20 talent, where this might pay off. I think you'd want to see Moon actually go for an MKB now.
Oh, I'd say Divine Rapier at this rate, John.
Yeah, that's fair.
Gonna run in, Masteros smoke broken. They spotted him out. Fnatic, they have to find the right kind of jump, but it's just so hard to find. And now another smoke gonna be broken on Cuckoo. Spots them out. Meanwhile, Jackie jumps in again onto DJ. Masteros in onto Jackie, but he just throws out one stun and backs out. Now the Doom out on Jabs, cancelling off the TP. Is gonna mean a secondary kill. They'd love to go after Masteros. He's going to go into the tree line, but Zephyr is not going to be able to hit that Shadow Strike in time. But how do you fight into them now? A 24k net worth lead for T1. It's just such a dominant game. And it's the same story as last game.
Yep, it's the same issue. You've left Jackie too long. He is just insane now. They did try to rotate a little bit more. It just never amounted to much. They've got the Scotty up on Raven. That could help them out, could help the cause, but it just doesn't feel enough by itself. They need a lot more to really control
that
Jackie.
Ethereal Blade just does nothing.
No.
Jackie now just jumps back in and clears out Moon. My god. DJ gonna hook shot in. Moon's gonna buy back, but Raven,
Oh,
he's
God.
gone. Triple kill out for Jackie. He's unstoppable. Onto Masteros they go. Well, tips come out from Carl. And Masteros just has to run. But this game looks very, very over. And I hate calling it early, John, but it looks very, very over.
If they don't have buyback on Raven. The E-Blade is just not doing anything on Moon. This itemization, if you really wanted to max this, I think you really needed the shards. Even
How
then,
much-
like the Scatter Blast, it doesn't sound amazing even with a shard for
How
this
much-
kind of...
How much minus armor are they doing right now? Because you've got an Orb of Destruction there, as well as the Deso, as well as the Armor Corruption, as well as the Corrosive Haze. They're sitting there with like minus 40 armor.
Yeah, and the ACR. There's
Oh,
a ton. They
add it
just
on.
melt. Yep.
And it looks like T1, they haven't called yet on Fnatic. They're going to try one more time. Jackie seems to believe it is very over, and I would agree with that sentiment, but they are going to try. Carl is going to jump in with the Doom. Now your egg's gone. The dagger Moon just goes down to a dagger out from Jackie. And they hook shot in DJ, but the GG's been called. They don't want to get massacred like this. But Jackie, he has no remorse. He will take them out and he'll finish the Ancient off. Well, well, well. T1 making it through to the lower bracket final to be up against TNC. And John, I'll tell you what, if they play like this tomorrow, TNC might be a little bit scared going into that lower bracket final, because that was quite a performance out from T1.
Oh yeah, that was perfect. Jackie, 20-0. 20-0.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was 20-0.
20-0. That speaks for itself, just how much T1's done. Amazing performance coming through. The confidence in just grabbing Slardar PA in the first phase and not getting countered. Fnatic had all the opportunities to maybe pick a counter in that first phase. Once they saw the Slardar, maybe they could have even stolen the PA themselves, but they don't manage to do that. They get punished for it, and there were moments where it looked good. Moon did go for a very fast E-Blade. His timing was super fast. It didn't work, and they're going to have to figure out the patch elsewhere, as that is the end of their journey here in the BTS Pro Series Season 4.
Well, I'll tell you what, John. Let's bring up the bracket just to remind everybody of what's happened during these playoffs. Just one moment, please. There we go. So the bracket's up, and now we are at the stage where TNC Predator versus T1 has to happen. Of course, after that, you do have your grand final. But TNC versus T1 is going to be the first matchup up tomorrow. Of course, winner of that will make it through to the grand final, where they'll verse Team Dog, who are just patiently waiting right now. And it should make for a hell of a grand final no matter who makes it. But just based off the last games we just saw, I tell you, if T1 gets the draft they want, TNC, I'm sure they've been watching, I'm sure they've done their homework, but I'm sure they'll also be taking their competitors very seriously in our first series tomorrow.
Oh, definitely. I'd say it's going to be a great set of matches overall, no matter who goes up to those grand finals. I personally kind of want to see the grudge match between Dog and T1. Because, of course, I mean, because the storyline of Dog was Cuckoo, Abed for 2 seasons, for 2 tournaments, and then they split up here. So if they do make it to the finals, that's a story in of itself. But TNC, of course, won't make that easy. We're going to have to see what they do pull off. It's been a fantastic set of games today.
I'd say so, John. Of course, with that, we are going to head off. We're going to get some sleep. And, of course, John, you're going to be very busy tomorrow. You're casting with Santa. So I'm sure you're very nervous. You've got to go prepare yourself. With that, it is MLP Dota. It is John X Fire. It's been a pleasure. And we'll be back to enjoy the grand finals and the lower bracket finals tomorrow. We'll see you all again in roughly 16 hours.